Hello and welcome to a new episode of Airport Update here on BongoPlanes, where we once again have returned to Philadelphia International Airport on the US East Coast. The airline industry is definitely on its path to recovery, something we can also see here at the airport as passenger numbers are steadily increasing. And that is something we should also be able to see here at the airport on our tour around the airport grounds on this summery afternoon. And so, as it has pretty much become tradition now, we start our tour around the airport over at Concourse A, where we can find an airline that is expanding operations here from Philadelphia International Airport. And that can of course be no other airline than Frontier Airlines, that today is visiting Philadelphia not with one but two Airbus A320neos. And the first one of the two can be seen here at Concourse A. This aircraft came in about half an hour ago from Punta Cana. The last cargo is still being offloaded. Passengers have already disembarked the aircraft. The aircraft will then later this evening be flying out to Miami. The second Airbus A320neo of Frontier Airlines arrived already at 15:28 here in Philadelphia, coming in from Cancun, and the aircraft is now getting ready for its flight out to Orlando. The jet bridge does need to be retracted and the last cargo hatch needs to be closed up. Then the aircraft will be ready to be pushed out of the ramp. Already in its pushback is this Airbus A320-200 of Allegiant Air. The aircraft arrived earlier in the afternoon from Savannah and will now be making its way over to Knoxville. Next to the Allegiant Air, we have this Boeing 737 MAX 9 of United Airlines that is paying Philadelphia a visit today. The aircraft came in at 15:36 from Chicago and is scheduled to leave at 2 minutes past 5 in the afternoon, going to Denver. And then next to the Boeing 737 MAX 9, we have another aircraft of United Airlines, in this case a Boeing 757-200. The aircraft arrived about half an hour ago from Houston. The aircraft is now being prepared for its next stint, which will bring the aircraft to Los Angeles LAX. The cabin is almost ready to start boarding, and first luggage has also arrived at the aircraft, which will be loaded up as fast as possible. Then over at the Concourse A extension, we find the 737-700 of Southwest Airlines that arrived 10 minutes to 4 in the afternoon from Denver. The aircraft is being prepared for its next flight, which will leave at 25 minutes past 5 in the afternoon, going out to Atlanta. Next to the Southwest, we have this Airbus A220-100 of Delta Airlines that has less than 20 minutes left on its turnaround. The aircraft arrived earlier this afternoon from Minneapolis and is now being prepared for its flight out to Detroit. Passengers are just about to start boarding the aircraft and cargo is already being loaded up. And with that, let's head over to our airport hotel, the Bongo Inn, to see what's going on over there today. And the Bongo Inn is today the venue for the Origami Appreciation Group for the Greater Philadelphia metropolitan area. It was, however, difficult to find a schedule of the event as they all seemed to be folded up. Now over at B Concourse, the American Airlines and One World Terminal, we find this Airbus A321neo of American Airlines, which arrived here at Philadelphia at 12 minutes to 3 in the afternoon and will have a bit more of a lengthy turnaround. It will later this evening be heading out to Los Angeles LAX. Next to the American, we have this rather colorful Boeing 737-800, which is an aircraft of Alaska Airlines. The aircraft is today flying between Philadelphia and Seattle. The aircraft arrived 20 minutes to 4 in the afternoon and has a scheduled departure set for 4:45 in the afternoon. So right now the aircraft is being loaded up and prepared for that flight. Then we have this Airbus A319 of American Airlines, which might run a little bit late on its turnaround. The aircraft arrived from Fort Lauderdale at 10 minutes to 3 in the afternoon and has a scheduled departure at 4:30 in the afternoon. So they have still around 6 minutes left, but the aircraft is still being loaded with cargo and passengers are still boarding the aircraft. So I think a delay might be inevitable here. Over at our widebody stands of B Concourse, we find this Boeing 777-300ER of American Airlines that has come in from a overseas flight, more specifically Amsterdam in Europe. The aircraft arrived here in Philadelphia at 1 o'clock and its next flight will bring the aircraft to Miami. That flight is scheduled for 5 o'clock in the afternoon, so there's still some time, but as you can see, preparations for that flight have already started. 5 minutes past 2, that was the arrival time of this Boeing 777-200ER of British Airways that came into Philadelphia from London Heathrow. The aircraft has a scheduled return flight set for 5 o'clock in the afternoon, so also here preparations for the next flight of this aircraft have started. And with that, let's head over to our C concourse to see what other international traffic we have here today. Start off with good news over here from C Concourse because we have the return of yet another legacy carrier. In fact, Air France has decided to reopen its route between Philadelphia and Paris Charles de Gaulle as passenger numbers between Europe and the US are normalizing again. And for today's flight, the airline has sent this Airbus A350-900 from their main hub at Paris Charles de Gaulle. The aircraft arrived at 4 o'clock in the afternoon. Last passengers are right now disembarking the aircraft and last cargo is also being offloaded. And as soon as that is done, the aircraft will be refueled and of course all the other preparations will start for its return flight, which is scheduled for 11 minutes past 7 in the evening. Another aircraft that hasn't arrived that long ago is this Dreamliner of Aeromexico. The 787-8 is today flying between Philadelphia and Mexico City, and ground crews are still busy with offloading the aircraft as it only arrived 8 minutes past 4 in the afternoon. The return flight is scheduled for 23 minutes past 6, so a return flight on time is to be expected. And then we can find another Airbus A350-900 over here at C Concourse, but in this case from Lufthansa. And as you can see, it is rather busy around the aircraft that currently is being refueled. Catering is here as well as first cargo. The aircraft is of course flying between Frankfurt and Philadelphia and has a scheduled departure set for around 20 minutes to 7 in the evening. And then we have a bit of a rare sight here at the airport, given that the airline is only operating this route once a week. In fact, it is the Airbus A330-200 of Hawaiian Airlines that of course is flying between Philadelphia and Honolulu. The aircraft arrived at 16 minutes past 2 and is scheduled to leave at 25 minutes past 5 in the afternoon. And with that, let's head over to our remote stands and the runway entry to see what's going on over there. Over at our remote stance, we see this Embraer ERJ-175 of American Eagle just arriving and just about to pull into the ramp. The aircraft has just come in on a scheduled flight from Harrisburg and will now remain until around 6:30 in the evening, when it will be flying out to New Haven. And next to the Embraer that has just arrived, we have yet another Embraer ERJ-175 of American Eagle. This aircraft arrived earlier this afternoon from Key West and is right now resting here on the tarmac. The aircraft will then be prepared for its next flight, which is scheduled for 6:30 in the evening, going out to Nashville. The third American Eagle aircraft we then find here over at the remote stance is the CRJ-900. The aircraft came in earlier this afternoon from Portland and will also remain here at the airport grounds until 6:30, when it will be leaving for Cincinnati. Next to the CRJ of American Eagle, we then find a Boeing 757-300 of Iceland Air. And the aircraft that arrived earlier this afternoon is in fact about to be closed down, at least for now. Passengers have long left the aircraft and also all cargo has been offloaded. Right now the crew is actually disembarking the aircraft, given that it has a lengthy turnaround. In fact, the return flight isn't scheduled until around 20 minutes to 10 in the evening, so it will get rather quiet around the aircraft for some time before preparations for the return flight will begin. Entering runway 27 right and about to line up for its departure is the CRJ-900 of American Eagle that arrived 25 minutes past 3 in the afternoon from Charlotte, and now with about 24 minutes delay is getting ready for its flight out to Raleigh-Durham. And with that we are coming to the last aircraft on our tour around the airport, which is first in line for takeoff here at runway 27 right after the American Eagle has left, and it is this Boeing 767-300F of UPS that around 1:45 in the afternoon arrived from Louisville and now will be making its long trip over the big pond over to the East Midlands Airport in the United Kingdom. And with that we are concluding our tour around the airport. If you have enjoyed this airport update, then don't forget to leave a like, that would be very much appreciated. And of course, if you are new around here, why not hit subscribe, that would be absolutely awesome. With that, I'd like to say thank you very much for watching, hope to see you soon again. I'm checking out, and bye.
Give me all of your lies, 'cause you're my demon in disguise. I learned to love the cage you keep me in, but the walls keep closing in, and I don't wanna die, but your poison feels so right. Why do I want you when you're bad for me? My perfect storm, my beautiful catastrophe. My perfect storm, my beautiful catastrophe. Like I'm drowning with all of this darkness surrounding. You need me like you need air to breathe. You want me to save you from me. I know that you're trapped inside this wave. Who's gonna save you? Who's gonna save you from me?